Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. AI is everywhere these days, right?
It really is.
And today we're going to take a deep dive into just how much AI is changing things.
Sounds good.
And really, I think we should start with the idea of huge context windows,
Okay.
because I've heard that phrase so much,
Yeah.
but I don't think I really get it.
Sure.
Like, what does that even mean? Does that mean like it's like looking at my screen?
So, not exactly. It's more like the AI can understand really, really large amounts of information.
Okay.
So think about it like this. You could have an AI analyze thousands of lines of code and find a bug.
Wow.
Or it could watch like an hour-long video and then answer any question you have about it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's because of these million token context windows.
Okay.
So it can process all that information and then you can have a really deep conversation with it.
So it's not like it's just seeing more stuff.
Yeah.
It's like you can understand more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a total game changer in how we even interact with AI.
That's so cool.
Instead of just like simple tasks, you can have these really nuanced conversations.
I like it.
Yeah,
Now, this is pretty powerful stuff, right?
it is.
Is it just for like big companies, or can like regular people use this too?
That is a great question.
Hmm.
And it kind of leads into this idea of small language models.
Okay.
So these aren't just like smaller versions of the big ones. These are actually designed to be integrated into the apps and services we use every single day.
Oh, so it's like AI, but it's just like built in.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Exactly. So it's woven into the fabric of our digital lives.
Oh, I like that.
You probably use it already.
Really?
Think about when you're coding
Okay.
and you have that code completion feature
Yeah.
in IntelliJ or whatever IDE you use.
Yeah.
That's powered by a small language model.
Oh, wow.
It's predicting what you're going to type next.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So what else? What are some other examples?
Well, think about like online shopping. You go to a website and there's a chatbot and it instantly answers your questions about a product
Okay.
or recommends things that would go well with it, or it even helps you find the best deals.
Oh, wow.
Or you're using a fitness app and the AI creates a workout plan just for you
Okay.
based on your goals and how you've been doing.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff we're talking about.
It's exciting, but it's also like a little scary too. I
Yeah.
have to say.
Sure.
But I think we need to talk about jobs now,
Okay.
because that's the thing everyone's worried about, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, is AI going to take everyone's jobs?
Well, look, the truth is that the future of work is changing.
Yeah.
And AI is a big part of that.
Okay.
We are seeing major shifts already.
Yeah.
And there are these reports from organizations like the World Economic Forum,
Right.
and they're predicting that millions of jobs are going to change.
Oh, yeah. I saw that statistic. It's like 60% of all workers need to be reskilled by 2027.
Yeah, it is.
It's a scary thought.
It is a big number. It is a lot of change. But remember, change can be good.
Right.
Change also brings opportunity. So alongside all these jobs that are going to change, there are also brand new jobs being created that we couldn't even have imagined a few years ago.
That's a good point. Like,
Yeah.
what? Give me an example.
Well, who would have thought AI ethicist would be a real job title?
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
So it's not just like jobs going away. It's like we have to learn new stuff.
Exactly. It's
Okay.
about adapting and getting those new skills.
So that leads to the question, like, what skills should we be developing
Right.
to stay relevant?
Big question.
I mean, I guess learning how to train robots is out the window
Maybe.
because they seem to be doing it themselves.
It's true.
But seriously, where do we even begin?
Well, it's about blending what makes us human
Okay.
with a basic understanding of how this AI stuff actually works.
Okay.
So creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, communication, all those things are going to be super important.
There you go.
But also like understanding data and like how these AI systems are built.
So it's kind of like we need both sides.
Mhm.
We need like the hard skills and like the soft skills too.
Exactly.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of learning,
Uh.
how is AI changing how we learn? I mean, are we all just going to have robot teachers?
Well, not quite robot teachers, but AI is totally transforming education.
Okay.
It's not just about what we learn.
No way.
It's about how we learn.
Okay. So like instead of just memorizing facts and stuff,
Yeah.
we're going to be doing more of that creative problem solving stuff we talked about.
Exactly. Imagine having an AI assistant that's like your thought partner.
Oh.
You brainstorm ideas together, explore different perspectives,
Uh-huh.
and it can even give you personalized feedback on your work.
Wow. It's like having a tutor like 24/7.
Yeah.
I love that.
So we can create these learning environments that are more engaging, personalized, and relevant to what's actually happening in the world.
Okay. I like it.
And AI can play a big role in that.
I'm sure there's some jobs that are already being really impacted by this right now.
Absolutely.
Like, what are the big changes we're seeing?
Well, one area where we're seeing a ton of change is product management.
Okay.
So think about the people who design and oversee the development of apps and websites and all that software stuff.
Yeah.
They're having to adapt so fast
I bet.
to this AI-driven world.
So what does that actually look like?
Well, they have to be constantly learning.
Okay.
They need to understand AI at a basic level,
Uh-huh.
how to collect and analyze data, and how to put AI features into their products.
Right.
But they also have to think about all the ethical implications.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Making sure that the products are being used responsibly and that they're good for the users.
So it's not just about the tech stuff. It's also about, like, the moral part of it, too.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just product managers.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of professions are changing like this.
Makes sense.
And you need both the hard and soft skills to do well.
Now, I do want to talk about some real-world examples of AI, like, out there in the world. What are some industries where this is already making a big difference?
Okay. Well, one of the most fascinating areas is in sales.
Okay.
AI is changing how companies connect with customers, how they personalize everything, and how they even close deals.
So, like, no more of those, like, cheesy sales calls and stuff.
Hopefully not.
Good.
Imagine custom chatbots
Oh, okay.
that can answer all your questions right away,
Uh-huh.
or AI agents that analyze customer data
Okay.
and then use it to have a really personalized conversation.
Wow.
And then you have powerful APIs that make the whole process much more streamlined.
So it's like the AI is doing all that boring stuff
Yeah,
so that the salespeople can actually, like, connect with people.
exactly. It frees them up to build relationships and give that personal touch.
Check.
And this actually connects to another big trend,
Okay.
which is low-code solutions.
Okay, I've heard of that, but what does that mean?
So think about it like building a website.
Hmm.
You don't need to know how to code anymore.
Right. Because things like WordPress.
Exactly. So WordPress is a perfect example.
All right.
Low-code AI platforms let you build and use AI applications even if you don't know how to code.
Oh.
So it's all about making this technology accessible to everyone.
I like it.
Yeah.
So what are some other examples of platforms being transformed by AI?
Let's stick with WordPress for a second,
Yeah.
because it really shows how AI is making website creation so much easier. You can have a website built almost instantly just by talking to the AI and telling it what you want.
Wow.
You can use AI to edit images easily and optimize your content for search engines.
So I can just tell it what I want my website to look like, and it'll do it.
It's getting pretty close to that.
That's wild.
It really shows the power of AI to make really complex things simple.
Let's see.
It's like the difference between building a car from scratch and
Right.
just being able to drive one.
I get it.
AI is opening up all these possibilities for people who don't have those tech skills.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is.
So we've talked about how AI can understand so much more now,
Yeah,
how it's becoming part of our everyday lives,
right.
and how it's changing the way we work.
Absolutely.
But before we move on, I want to just acknowledge how big all of this is.
Yeah.
I mean, AI is really changing everything.
Yeah, it's not science fiction anymore.
It's happening right now.
It's woven into our lives, and it's only going to get bigger.
It's exciting and scary all at the same time.
It's true.
I think it's a call to action for all of us.
Absolutely. We can't just sit back and watch this happen.
Right.
We have to get involved,
Yeah.
learn, experiment, and really help shape the future of AI so that it's good for everybody.
Okay. Well said. Now, before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive, I want to go back to something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
That idea of diversity in AI.
You mean making sure that AI is developed and used responsibly?
Exactly. We're seeing a lot of cool things happening to make sure AI is fair,
And
inclusive,
Okay. It's such an important conversation to have.
Yeah.
We got to make sure that this stuff is being used for good.
Right.
And that it benefits all of us.
Yeah, not just a select few.
Exactly.
So that brings up some big questions for everyone to think about.
Like what?
How can we make sure that AI is used ethically?
Right.
How can we be part of its development in a positive way?
Yeah, those are the questions we all need to be asking ourselves.
I agree.
Because in the end, the future of AI is really in our hands.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up part 1 of our deep dive. But stay tuned for part 2,
Okay.
where we're going to get even deeper into this amazing world of AI.
We'll see you there.
We'll be right back.
Sounds good. Welcome back to the deep dive. Before we jump into this next part about I want to circle back to something we were talking about earlier.
Okay, sure.
The whole idea of diversity in AI.
Yeah,
Making sure that everybody benefits from AI.
that's a big one.
It is. It's really important. You know, one thing that really stood out to me from our last conversation was this idea of AI democratization.
Oh, yeah.
You know, how these tools are becoming more accessible,
Right.
not just for like big tech companies, but for everyone.
Exactly. It was so cool to hear about like WordPress and all those low-code solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes way beyond just websites and sales.
Okay, so where else is this happening?
Well, think about like entrepreneurs.
Okay.
They can use AI now to like analyze market trends
Oh, wow.
and create these really personalized marketing campaigns.
Uh-huh.
They can even manage their finances better.
Wow, so it's like AI is giving them all these advantages that they didn't have before.
Exactly. And it's not just entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Small businesses can use AI to automate their customer service,
Right.
streamline their operations,
that's-
and actually compete with those bigger companies.
So AI is really leveling the playing field in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it really is. Which is exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
But it also makes me think about the potential downsides we talked about.
Right.
Like if all this power is in more hands, how do we make sure it's used for good?
You're bringing up a really crucial point. As AI becomes more powerful
Yeah.
and more accessible, the ethical considerations become even more important.
Because we can't just hope that everyone's going to use it the right way.
Exactly. So what do we need to be thinking about?
Yeah, like what are the big things?
Well, one of the biggest areas is transparency.
Okay.
As these AI systems get more and more complex,
Uh-huh.
we need to understand how they work,
Right.
how they make decisions.
Like what's going on inside.
Exactly. And what data they're using.
Yeah, because it's kind of a black box right now.
It is. We put something in, we get something out,
Yeah.
but we don't really know what happens in between.
So how do we fix that?
Well, there's this whole field called explainable AI.
Okay.
And basically, researchers are trying to make these AI systems more transparent
Okay.
so we can actually see the logic behind their decisions.
So we don't just have to trust it blindly.
Exactly. We can see why it's making certain recommendations or taking certain actions.
I like that.
And that's key for building trust and accountability.
That makes sense.
We need to be able to question AI,
Yeah.
challenge its biases,
Right.
and make sure that it's being used fairly.
Now what happens if AI does cause harm,
Right.
even if it's unintentional?
Yeah.
Like who's responsible when things go wrong?
That is a tough question.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's something that legal experts and ethicists are still figuring out.
I bet.
We need to have clear guidelines and
Yeah.
regulations for AI,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to hold the people who create and use AI accountable.
Okay, so it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about all those human systems around it.
Exactly. And it's a conversation that's going to keep evolving as AI continues to change.
We have to keep figuring it out as we go.
Exactly. We need to constantly reevaluate things,
Mm.
adapt our
Got
regulations,
that.
and make sure that human values are always at the center.
Well said.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in the potential problems with AI.
Sure.
But I also want to talk about the positive impact it can have on creativity.
Okay.
Some people worry that AI will replace artists,
Right.
but I think it's more complicated than that.
Yeah, I agree. AI isn't about replacing human creativity. It's about giving us new tools to enhance it.
Okay.
We're seeing AI being used in art music writing, even filmmaking.
Wait, AI can write a screenplay.
It can generate scripts, compose music, create artwork, write poetry.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing. And yeah, these AI creations often need a human touch
Okay.
to refine them,
Right.
but they offer so much potential for inspiration and
Wow.
exploration and collaboration.
So it's more like AI is a partner in the creative process.
Exactly. Think of it like a brainstorming buddy.
Okay, I like
It
that.
helps you push the boundaries of what's possible.
And it can help us overcome those creative blocks we all get sometimes.
Exactly. And this actually ties back to something we discussed earlier,
What's that?
the importance of continuous learning.
Oh, right.
It's not just about technical skills. It's also about nurturing those uniquely human qualities.
Right, like creativity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Critical thinking, problem solving.
Yeah.
Those are the skills that are really going to set us apart.
In an AI-driven world.
Yes. And the cool thing is that AI can actually help us develop those skills.
Really?
Yeah, because it can take over those repetitive tasks and
Right.
give us these new tools and insights.
Mm-hmm.
It frees up our time and energy so we can focus on what we as humans do best.
I like that. That's a good way to think about it.
So it's not about being afraid of AI.
Right.
It's about seeing it as an opportunity to be even better.
Yeah, to unlock our full potential.
Exactly. And as we move forward,
Yeah.
it's important to remember that AI is a tool.
Okay.
It's up to us to use it wisely
Yeah.
to make sure that it's benefiting humanity
Makes sense.
and that it's aligned with our values.
Well said. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up part 2
Okay.
of our deep dive into AI.
Sounds good.
We've covered a lot of ground
We have.
from how AI is becoming more accessible.
Right. To the ethical challenges. Yeah. And the impact on creativity.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has. And we've only just scratched the surface.
There's so much more to explore.
AI is moving so fast,
Yeah.
the possibilities are endless.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've talked about how AI can understand so much more now and how it's becoming part of our everyday lives. But there's one question I think a lot of people are wondering.
Are robots taking over?
That's the one. It's a little scary to think about, right?
I get it. We've all seen those movies.
Exactly. But seriously, what does AI actually mean for the future of work?
Well, the truth is that the future of work is definitely changing, and AI is a big part of that. But I don't think it's about robots taking over. I
Okay.
think it's more about AI transforming how we work.
So it's like a tool we can use.
Exactly. It's a really powerful tool, and it's really good at certain things like processing huge amounts of data,
Okay.
spotting patterns that we might miss,
Uh-huh.
and automating those tasks that are kind of repetitive.
Right, the boring stuff.
Yeah, but what AI can't do is replicate those things that make us human.
Okay, like what?
Things like creativity, critical thinking, complex problem solving,
Right.
empathy, and collaboration.
Those are all pretty important.
They are. So it's really about figuring out how to combine those human strengths
Yeah.
with the power of AI.
So we find that balance.
Exactly. It's like AI takes care of the stuff that drains us,
Okay.
and then it frees us up to focus on what we do best.
That makes sense. But can you give me some real-world examples of how this is actually happening?
Sure, let's take healthcare, for example. AI is already being used to analyze medical images,
Okay.
which helps doctors detect diseases earlier
Wow.
and with more accuracy.
So it's not replacing the doctor.
No, it's giving them an extra tool.
Right, like a helper.
Exactly. To make bad decisions.
Okay, what about other industries?
Well, in finance, AI algorithms can analyze tons of financial data
Okay.
to find fraud and manage risk.
Makes sense.
So then human analysts can focus on those bigger strategic tasks.
It's like AI is doing the grunt work.
Yeah, and then humans can do the thinking.
I like it. Now, what about manufacturing?
Oh, yeah. AI-powered robots are already working in factories alongside human workers,
Okay.
and that's increasing productivity and efficiency.
Uh-huh.
Plus, those robots can do the jobs that are dangerous for people.
Right, or just like super boring.
Exactly. So it seems like AI is touching every industry in some way.
It does.
Yeah.
But with all these changes happening, what skills do we need to learn to do well in this new world of work?
No, look, the most important thing is continuous learning.
Okay.
Technology is changing so fast
Right.
that we all need to be constantly learning new things.
So it's not enough to just finish school and be done.
Nope. We need to embrace lifelong learning.
Okay.
And always be looking for new knowledge and skills.
So what should we be focusing on?
Well, technical skills related to AI and data science are important, but don't forget those human skills.
Right, like creativity and problem solving.
Yeah. Exactly. Communication, collaboration, and even emotional intelligence are going to be super valuable.
So we need both sides of the coin.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between the technical know-how
Uh-huh.
and the human touch.
And being open to all these changes that are happening.
Absolutely. Adaptability is key.
It's a lot to think about, but it's also pretty exciting.
It is. It feels like we're at the start of a whole new way of working.
Right.
One that could be more collaborative and more innovative and maybe even more fulfilling.
I agree. And there will definitely be challenges along the way.
Yeah.
But I'm optimistic. With the right approach, we can use AI to create a world where work is more meaningful, more equitable, and more human.
That's a great way to put it. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of AI.
It really does.
We've learned so much about how AI works,
Yeah.
how it's changing the world, and what it means for all of us.
We've only scratched the surface, but hopefully it's given everyone a lot to think about. To all our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this journey into the world of AI. Remember, this isn't just about technology. It's about us and how we choose to shape the future.
Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep asking those big questions.
The future is ours to create. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.